Happy birthday, Pisces. This month, you go to the head of the class. This is Astro Numerology Reveals March 2025 Astro Numerology Forecast. Welcome back, Lloyd. How are you?
Fine, Miss Kimbaley. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's Pisces season. I want to say happy birthday to all of the Pisces out there. You've been waiting. It seems like Pisces been waiting for a long time.
But they're number one today, though.
Oh, they go to the head of the class
Yeah,
today. That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. They don't have to get to the back of the line. Not today.
See, Pisces, the month has started out already for you.
That's right.
So, how was February for you?
February was kind of interesting. I was in a cycle of home, family, duty, responsibilities, obligations, things of that nature, and it was just very, very interesting. It was my birthday month, so I had the kids over. So it was in that way. It was real nice. It was real nice.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Did you do anything to celebrate, or is that not really
Try
business?
snow, cold, rain, sleet. Okay, that's how my day was. My daughter, one of my daughters got me. Actually, two of my daughters got me flowers. I mean, beautiful flowers. It was really nice.
Oh, that's so nice. That's
Yeah,
so
really nice.
nice.
Yeah. And
But
yours?
it was, it was okay. It was okay. It was so fast. It seemed like we were just recording February's forecast.
That is true. That is true. It was kind of busy.
I kind of
Yes.
found myself at the beginning of the month saying that I'll do it by the end of February. And before I looked around, it was like, this is the end of February. What happened?
Well, this month caught most people because this is the shortest month of the year, which is so interesting because it's ruled by the period of four, which is odd and unusual anyway. And of all 12 months, this is the oddest month where every 4 years we get an extra day for February, but it's the shortest day out of 12 months in the year. So it's definitely ruling the period of the four, which is
So
very
let me
odd.
ask you this. Let me ask you this question. You said odd and unusual because it's the period of the four.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice anything odd and unusual about the month of February?
Yes, there were a lot of airplane incidences. Definitely. There were about no less than 16, 17 airplane instances starting in the period of late. See, February for Aquarius, it starts the latter part into. So on January the 31st, there was an incident, and then leading up to then. But it's interesting because I gave a show on my Numbers and You YouTube channel, and I was explaining that the dates that tend to be more problematic for plane crashes, as a rules, are 4, 6, 3, and 1. Well, I did a chart showing the plane incidences up until about the 19th. I don't think there's been any more, hopefully, or since then. But the point is, many of them took place in either a date that added to a 4, or a 3, or a 6, or a 1. So out of the 15, about 11 of them occurred on those dates that I did in my book that I published years ago under this book here, Numbers and You. Because I did a piece on airplane crashes and fires. And for the dates, it seemed to matched up, although it was some time ago when I did this book.
I think you seem a little psychic to me because that was definitely one of the questions I was going to ask, and that was about those plane crashes. It was kind of crazy, but I wasn't even thinking about that we were in the period of the four. And then when I think about four, we think about the ruling planet Uranus.
Yeah.
Uranus rules accidents, Another thing that I did notice in February, and it being the period of the four, I just kind of like wanted to be reserved and to myself, like, didn't want to go out much, didn't want to do too much. So I'm figuring that's probably being in that period of the four too. So,
Well, probably so. People kind of like to stay to themselves as a rule. It's one of the few times that people go out, which is why people should increase their vitamin D during the winter months of January, February, when the weather is normally bad. And even weathers in so-called areas like Florida and other sunshine states have been getting a lot of crazy snow, things where it's not supposed to be happening. Florida, snow, it's just been a kind of a crazy time.
so give us some good news. What can we expect for this month?
The good news is February is over, so we got that out the way, okay? The good news is the good news is, first of all, March is a 3 universal month. What do I mean? What I did was I take 2025, the year we are in presently, which is a 9, 3 added to the third calendar month equals 12, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So March for 2025 is a 3 universal month. And 3 is this is considered the good luck period for people in general, prosperity in general, things of that nature. The people that are likely to do well would be Pisces. Yay for them. We're in Pisces season. Sagittarians, or anybody born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. However, despite the good luck and prosperity types of cycles and opportunities this month, there's another kind of thing that's been thrown into the mix, and that is Mercury is retrograde. It's the first Mercury retrograde for this year. Mercury retrograde, for those who may not know, Mercury is the planet that deals with communications, how we talk, how we speak, how we write, how we interact with the public and people in general. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it's normally a kind of a, well, you said do this, and I thought you said do that. You said meet me at 3. I said, no, you said meet you at 4. This is when people get arguments. It's normally not the best time to go into any contractual matters unless it has been something in the works for several whiles, like several months leading up to it. But to go into retrograde and say, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to sign a contract, I'd say that's not the best time. And it's actually going to start on March the 14th. And it's going to stay that way until April 7th. Now, it's in all the water periods. So the next one will be in July 17th. The next one will be then in November 9th. So it'll go from water into fire, but that's it. And since water rules emotions, we have to be careful of the words we use and how they're conveyed to not evoke emotions beyond, because we're in a 9 universal year. And people right now, because of this economic climate and a lot of pressure and everything is inflated, it's kind of on edge. So it is just being very mindful of the things we say and do during this universal month. But that's going to be it. So anything leading up to it, and then there's a cusping period. So although it starts officially on the 14th, the rule of thumb for most astrologers, you're not just about a week and a half out. So as early as the 5th or the 6th, or whatever the case is. So people should be careful in their travel. People should just not assume. People should just kind of make sure that they think before they speak, because sometimes we could say things for which we can't take back and it's already out there. And then after we come to our senses, that is when Mercury goes direct again, which is the early part of next month. And then we said, oh, I shouldn't have said that, but it's too late. The die's been cast. It's already been done. But let's get to the Almanac section. There's still the things we've added. We've added the addition of the Almanac. What are some of the things to do? So since Mercury retrograde deals with electronics, cars, gadgets, gizmos, communications, if you're going to buy a car, the best time to do it would be on the 5th. Now, there are other dates this month, such as the 14th, the 23rd, and the 24th. But by the 14th, Mercury starts. Now, Mercury officially kicks in, although you're going to start feeling the cusp of it leading up to it. But at the same time, The 14th day will be it. So if you're going to buy a car, try or get the car repaired, try to get it done before the 14th. Now, it does say the 23rd and 24th, true, but we're going to be smack dab in Mercury retrograde. So it'll be your luck you get the lemon on the block. You know what I'm saying? You go buy the car that's the worst car on the property. All right. So what I'm saying for those newbies and women especially, that the color of the car looks cute, but is the engine working? Is the engine cute? Okay. Bring a mechanic with you. This is for guys too, because all guys aren't that good too. I'm proof of that myself. I get the car because I like the shape of it, like the design of it. And man, that engine fell apart the next day. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that. So it must have had to be Mercury retrograde now that I think about it. But the point is that's what you do. If you're going to get a car, especially from the 14th, 23rd, 24th, when we're smack dab in the Mercury retrograde, for those who are not experienced with buying cars and whatnot, especially ladies, bring a professional mechanic with you and have them check the engine. Don't worry about the color. Don't worry about the design. Don't worry about how the interior is cute, because it's a nice cute interior, but if his vehicle going to break down on the highway, then it's not as cute as you think. Okay, so now for business, to start a business, it is the 4th and the 13th, but that's one day before Mercury goes retrograde. So if you're going to start a business, make sure everything is double checked, I's are dotted, T's are crossed, especially if you're at the contractual phase of the starting the business where you got to sign papers and things like that. That's what you got to do. For electronics, now this is important because Mercury affects our phones, our computers, our cars, our gadgets and gizmos, where everything just seems to be out of whack. But there is going to be one on the 5th and then the 24th. But by the 24th, we smack dab in Mercury retrograde. So I'm saying if you're going to buy electronic, let it be up until the 5th and then leave it alone. Just wait. Just wait until after the 7th of the following month of April when we're in Aries season. But then if you must do something, but I'm telling you, if phones act up, cars act up, I thought you said this, I thought you said that, you send a text to the wrong person when it should have gone to that person, all kinds of confusion. So that would be it. Now, as far as breaking a habit is concerned, this is very important, whether retrograde or not. It's the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Again, as I remind you, it normally takes, as they know, 21 days to break a habit, 21 days to start a habit. So for those that are very serious, you're supposed to did it back in January, but now you're waiting this March and Mercury's going to go retrograde. If so, that would be the time to do it, as well as the 28th. That would be the time for those that are interested in breaking a habit. Now, what about haircuts? This is important, especially for ladies that want their hair to grow. Well, they'll find that the 3rd, the 6th, and the 9th is very, very good for that part. Okay. Then later on the 30th or 31st, we're going more toward the tail end of Mercury retrograde. But for women who are serious about really getting a good job done, and well, they shouldn't have put this in it and they put that in it, you're probably in Mercury retrograde. So make sure you do it on the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 9th of the month. That would be the best time to do it. Now, what about you women that say, man, my hair's growing so fast, I need to cut it? Well, between the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd would be, so it's the 19th through the 23rd, just to keep it short. But I'm talking about that period. And so make sure you're very specific to the person that's doing your hair. Don't just say, just cut it, and they cut it where you almost bald. You know what I'm saying? This is where, in case you're going to have to be very, very specific. Okay, I want a typewriter, but I want an electric typewriter, not just a regular bang up typewriter. You got to be specific. You know what I'm saying? You cannot talk in generalities, especially for you ladies that are getting your hair done that time, and also the 27th. And finally, for those of you who want to ask for a loan, apply for a loan for business, a loan in general, the, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th would be the best time to do it, along with the 9th through the 12th. But after the 30th and 31st, I'd say you're on your own, okay? Because we'd be smack dab in Mercury retrograde, okay? So take advantage during that 3rd and 5th, that 9th and 12th in order to do that. So that's where we're at with the Almanac for this month.
Those were some great choices. Since we're in Mercury retrograde, I like the tech choices. and the automobile. All of them were excellent choices. So thank you for letting us know about that. And don't worry, whenever I go to the salon to get my hair done, I always have a magazine, a picture, or something. And I'm like, I want it like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes
You
it's
got to be
impossible.
specific. You got to be specific. Now,
Yeah.
the one advantage of Mercury retrograde is if you've lost an item, a piece of jewelry or something like that, and you can't find it, that's the best time to get it right then and there. Okay. Basically, when it is during Mercury retrograde, all of a sudden you almost sit on it, step on it, kick it. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting. That's the one advantage. But another advantage is it says to just slow down. Don't be in a rush. It needs to apply to me because sometimes I just don't have no patience. Well, patience is going to be very, very important for me to slow my roll.
Really? You have no patience?
I don't know where I got that from.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm patient. I'm patient with what I want, like my career, numerology, the persistence. But sometimes I'm not. I guess most people aren't patient for no drama, no foolishness. So that
Yeah.
definitely feels it. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's how we do it. But other than that, let us start with Pisces, because this is your time, Pisces. Okay. So if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Pisces, the theme this particular month of March of 2025 is about family. Believe it or not, family almost seems to be a lost word nowadays, but to act as a family, to act as a unit, to whatever you're doing this particular time, make sure that you stand by your words, stand by your actions. Talk is cheap. There used to be a saying, you can show me better than tell me. Well, what you want to do is embrace people as family. Now, sometimes family isn't always family, but for the most part, your attitude should be to act as a family as much as you possibly can. In the first week, you're going to find you're going to be very reflective. You may not be feeling in a family way, and you might feel that, well, why should I deal with this person or deal with that person? But it's about meeting your obligations regardless. And what you do is you'll probably have some strange or weird dream in the first week or so, not knowing or understanding maybe about a family member. So give them a call, see how they're doing, things of that nature. But exercise that kind of family attitude that seems to be a lost art nowadays. As you go into the second week, especially around the 13th and the 14th, when the moon is sitting in your opposition sign of Virgo, it is a mean to just be very cautious. And don't forget, we're starting to move into Mercury retrograde, and so with the moon being in your opposition period during that entry into the 13th and 14th, and especially when it comes to finances, especially when it comes to relationships, it means you must tread very carefully and just don't assume. That is the one thing about it. As you're entering into the latter part of the phase of the month of March for yourself, Pisces, you'll find that now you can fulfill some of your dreams. Now you can manifest some of the things that you've been trying to get done. And yet at the same time, you can close the books on some situations that's no longer in your best interest. Because, yes, it is about family and duty and responsibilities. But for those that don't do their part, there's only but so much you can do. And you'll find it by that third week, you'll probably be left with no choice but to let them go their way, let bygones be bygones, so you can manifest the things you want to do. Now, toward the end of the month, especially around the 27th and the 28th, because there are only 28 days in February, I mean, March, well, there are 31 days in March, but around the 27th and 28th, when the moon is sitting in your sign, that's when you're in a good position to really move forward, to focus on you, because all the time and attention will definitely be on you, what you need to do with yourself, why you're doing it, and ask yourself, have you met your obligations from the start of March all the way to the tail end? But I would say, with it being in your sign on that time, it should be a good time for you. The people who are going to help you during the month of March will be Tauruses and Librans, or anybody born on the 6th, the 15th, 23rd of the month, excuse me. The color to wear is ocean blue. I don't know where I got that from. Ocean blue is the color to wear, and the stone or crystal to carry over and above shungite should be sapphire. All righty. That would be the best for them. Now, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Aries, guess what? Your theme this month is for performance. I don't mean on no stage, okay? It ain't that kind of performance. Performance meaning doing a job well done, doing what you feel you have to do, making sure that you are at tops. So when something is at top performance, those are the ones that get the awards. If you ever notice in entertainment field, the best performer of this, the best performer of that. But you want to be the best performer on life in terms of doing the things that you're doing, acting at your best, being in top condition to do whatever has to be done. And because it's going to be a period of self-improvement, busyness, expansion, and good luck, and especially when the moon is sitting in your sign on the 2nd and the 3rd, and it's going to be a very busy week as you started off to get yourself structured and organized, to have a decent game plan of how you plan to do things. Going into the 2nd week, though, that's going to be a week that's going to bring a lot of possibilities and opportunities to make some dramatic changes. And especially with you being in an abundance and good luck cycle, look for everything that's not nailed down that can move your reputation and your good name forward. That would be the case. Now, as you enter the 3rd week, especially around the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th, when the moon opposes your sign in the sign of Libra, that's when you should not be too hyped about the way you say things. And by that time, so we'll be going into Mercury retrograde. So since you'll be going into a relationship that cycle of the week of the 15th through the 21st, and with the moon in your opposition sign on the 15th, 16th, and 17th, it's definitely to your advantage to mind your manners, watch your words, how you say things, and make sure you are clear on your intention. So this is a very good time where you must think first before you just jump out, because Aries can be impulsive, as all Aries know. But it means in this case, just take it easy. However, if you go into the tail week of it, this is when you get some time to get some quality time to you, especially on the 29th and the 30th, when the moon comes back around to your sign again. Those 2 days, that will give you a chance to kind of like explore your options, reflect on what you're doing, why you're doing those things, and what does it mean as you begin to close out this month. Because next month we go into your zodiac sign, okay? So I know you'll be more than ready. But right now, performance is the key. The people who will help you and assist you during this month of March is Pisces and Sagittarius, or anybody born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. And you'll find that lavender is the best color to wear, from the lightest to the darkest. And the stone or crystal to carry over and above shungite would be aquamarine. All righty. So now, for the Tauruses, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Taurus, your theme this month is about energy, having the tenacity, the energy, the stamina to do what needs to be done. Yes, Taurus is an earth sign. Yes, that means sometimes you can be slow with what you're doing, steadfast about what you're doing, methodical about what you're doing. But it says that energy is going to be very important, especially on the 4th and the 5th, when the moon is sitting in your sign of Taurus anyway. It'll give you a great opportunity to get the month off to a good start. And it'll start in a way that brings about some new beginnings. So you're going to be in a proactive sort of mood, so to speak, ready to kind of make some things happen. When Tauruses get ready, can nobody do it better than them. So that first opening week, or the first salvo, as they used to say, will definitely bring out the best in you to get the game started. But by the 2nd week, it says means slow down, take your time, don't rush things, because this is when we start to go into the phase of Mercury retrograde that will definitely, without question, begin to slow things down. So if things seem to be iffy and up in the air, don't worry about it, because as you go into the 3rd week, especially around the 18th and the 19th, the moon sits in your opposition sign of Scorpio. And so it's in that way. And because we will be in Mercury retrograde at the start of it, be careful not to overextend yourself, take on more than you can. Avoid getting into people's gossips and scandals and things like that, because it's going to be a crazy week. Somebody will say something, why is your name attached to it? It'll be that kind of energy. But as you close out the month, though, on the very last day of March, the 31st, the moon sits back in your sign, but it'll give you a time to really be more structured and organized of where you're doing things and having that plan of action so you close it out. But it's about energy. So make sure you get enough rest. Make sure you get into deep breathing and take in the sunshine and everything. But your level of energy will determine what you are able to accomplish. Now, the people who will help you will be Aries and your opposition sign of Scorpio. Yes, they sometimes will be a blessing. Or those that are born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of any month. And as for the color, rose, from the lightest to the darkest. Rose is a beautiful color anyway. And the stone to wear, or stone or crystal to wear or carry over and above shungite should be emerald, believe it or not. Now, Gemini. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Gemini, guess what? Mercury rules your sign, and it means for you to be a circulator, to get things moving, to get the job done, to get everything out there, to keep it moving, keep it flowing. And can't nobody do that better than you anyway. So you'll be in what is called your natural flow of things, to move out and about. So for those of you Geminis that want to stay home, it suggests for March you kind of like get out there. The weather's changing. We're going to be heading into springtime. But what's going to be happening is on the 14th, Mercury goes retrograde, which rules your sign. So things could be a little out there. But make your best to circulate and get things out there. I will tell you this, though. The first week will give you a chance to begin to close the books on some things and yet seek some of the things you've been looking for, especially around the 8th and the 9th when the moon is sitting in your sign. That's going to be good because as you enter into the second part or the second week of the 8th through the 14th, you're going to find that now you're going to be ready to start anew, start on your own, be active, proactive, I should say, really step out on faith. Don't be surprised if you don't get a raise or promotion too, although there might be a little glitch because Mercury going retrograde your planet. Make sure you don't overassume. Don't make sure you don't take things for granted. Don't be talking in the terms where you know what I mean. That will not work for you. Not because, first of all, it's not your strongest period anyway, Gemini. And then with Mercury going retrograde on the 14th into the rest of the month and then actually into early first week of Aries, it just simply means to just not assume and just take it easy. And not only that, but in the third week, around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, when the moon is hitting your opposition sign anyway in Sagittarius, that's not going to help you either. But it says at the same time, just be patient, take your time, and also be mindful of your diet. Don't be rushing anything. And make sure whenever you eat that you eat properly, chew your food properly, slowly, because Geminis can rush. So it says, in light of that, just take your time and just chew things. But not only you chew your food, chew the things carefully that you're doing and whatnot. Chew over those ideas and concepts and not let them kind of throw your energies off. And so, by the way, and so as you go into the very last week, that's when you'll get an opportunity to really, really expand, to really be creative and be at your creative best to expand what you're doing. And you'll find that definitely to your advantage. You will find that Capricorns, Aquarians, and Libras will help you, or anybody born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month. The color to wear is black, dark blue, or jet black, or whatever the case is. And you'll find that the stone to wear or carry, believe it or not, should be pearl. That would be the stone to wear in addition, or crystal to wear in addition to shungite, okay? Now, what about Cancer? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Cancer, the theme is about diversity. Now, you know there's been some issues about diversity in the government, okay? DEI. This ain't got nothing to do with that. But I'm talking about diversity in terms of being flexible, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. They have their own way of how they do things. They could be mothering and nurturing and kind of creatures of habit in that way, being very protective. But they're going to have to use some diversity. They're going to have some kind of flexibility to move and do the things they want to do. And especially when they get into the first week, because that deals with their personal life, their personal affairs, their health, their home, their family, as well as their resources. It would be a good time to diversify, to go back to school, or get involved in a weight loss exercise, enroll in a gym, membership or things of that nature. And especially around the 8th and the 9th, as you go into that period of reflection, when the moon is sitting in your sign of Cancer, and you'll be able to make some very much decisions about what way and in what way will you be more diversified in terms of doing the things you're doing rather than just doing it one way. You know, sometimes we're creatures of habit. We find one way to do something and we think that's all it is to do it. But your theme this month, Cancer, is to kind of find other options, other things that you can do, that you can walk and chew gum and whistle too at the same time. Although that'd be a neat trick to do that one. But the point is you can do it. All right. And as for the third week, this is going to be your power week. That's the week you're going to be in the period of making your moves to do the things you want to, coming of age, seeing things the way you're looking at it. But as you go into the tail end, especially around the 23rd, 24th, when the moon is in your direct opposition sign of Capricorn. And also the period says be very, very careful about rushing into things, losing your temper, or letting people goading you into making you make a false move or do things is very important. And also be careful with your driving too. Don't be in a rush. Take your time, because don't forget, it's in the middle of the month of March that Mercury goes retrograde, and thus will affect everything in not so much of an adverse way, so much as a way that's like, wow, that's crazy. Don't make no sense. Well, that's Mercury retrograde for you. That's how it communicates. All right. You will find as a result that those under the signs of Gemini and Virgo will help you, or those that are born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd will be of help to you as well. And the color to wear will be silver gray. Okay, it's a beautiful color. It's almost like a business-like gray to wear, if you can. And also, the stone or crystal to wear or carry over and above shungite should be moonstone. All righty. Now, what about Leo? If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Leo, the theme this month for them is to be methodical, to not just jump out there. It's not that Leo's impulsive. Don't get me wrong. Leos are just they just have a way of breaking new ground. But the point is to have a plan of how you're going to break new ground, to not just jump out there, because Leos are not afraid to jump out there on the dare. That's why they're your pioneers, your visionaries, your futurists. They get out there, and there's something about them that makes them the groundbreakers of the universe. But for Leos, it is best that you have a method to your madness, as they used to say. Not just get out there and do anything that you have regret. And especially in the first, because the first opening week is indicating about making some changes. So be methodical about the changes you make and why you make those changes as you do. I would say the only little challenge will come is going into that second week when, and especially uh, when the moon is in your sign on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, that's going to be beneficial. But it indicates some adjustments is going to have to be made in your method of how you're doing things. So if you're setting your ways, because Leo is a fixed sign, thank you, it is suggesting that that week you'll be in a kind of week where adjustments are necessary, but you're going to have to be a little bit more open and not set about doing it. As you go into the third week, it's going to be a period where you're going to go into a quiet reflection. That is after the 14th. And that makes sense because it's at that time that Mercury goes retrograde. And it gives you a time to think and try to spend time to yourself. Try to make sure that your thoughts are clear, your intentions are clear, and not just assume, because it's going to be very, very important. And it's going to be a look before you leap kind of situation to just make sure that everything is, a lot of things are going to be coming to the surface, unbeknownst to you. You're going to find yourself with some strange dreams going on, but it's about being as methodical, as efficient, as productive, and having a roadmap or a blueprint as much as possible. Now, as you go into the last week, now that's going to be tricky because it's on the 25th and 26th. Not only will we be full smack dab into Mercury retrograde, but the moon will be sitting in your opposition sign of Aquarius. And so it simply means that's the time, especially because it deals in the area dealing with your finances and relationships, to make sure you double check everything and definitely don't assume that the money's there. Definitely don't assume that the relationships are tight. You just kind of be open and let things go as they do. Now, you'll find that the people that will help you During this month of March, for all Leos will be under the signs of Aquarius. Leos will help you, so you'll be helping yourself. Thank you. Geminis or people born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. They will be of help to you. Now, as for the color to wear, that should be for them dark blue. From dark blue, I mean, a dark business blue. It'll be really, really nice. And the stone or crystal to wear or carry over and above shungite is diamond. That is your stone. And diamond is the hardest crystal or hardest stone you can get on the planet. That's why they use diamonds to cut through things and whatnot. So it's kind of like hard. But that is the stone to wear or carry in addition to shungite. Now, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Virgo, the theme is about establishing systems. System is almost like methodical, like the previous sign, but a system about taking things from point A to point B. Having a system means setting up things where there's a sense of order and purpose, where everything goes. It's like having a kind of like a diagram. There's another word I want to use for people who submit patents and inventions, to have this diagram where there's a kind of a system or schematic, so to speak, but to not just do things. But this is perfect for Virgos. They elect to analyze anyway. That's their natural name, their natural sign. I analyze. And so having a system will do very, very well for you, to not do things in a helter-skelter fashion, but to have a sense, kind of almost sense like a sense of order and purpose and direction, as well as what your intentions are going to be. Because as you open up this, the first week, it indicates that your system of doing things is going to be about ending, because the system is going to affect your finances too. What kind of strategy or system or kind of shall we say strategy about making your money work, making your money grow? The first week says cut your losses. Anything being extravagant, you let that go. Needs versus want, because on the very first day of March anyway, the sun will be sitting in your stress sign of Pisces anyway. So just let that be, and don't take anything too serious, but cut back on things. Now, it's in the second week that you have a chance to more step out on faith and do the things that you want to do, especially around the 13th and the 14th, just before we enter the stage of Mercury retrograde, because the moon will be sitting in your sign. And it'll give you a chance to kind of get a fresh start, look at things from a different perspective, to kind of be more encouraged to be more independent, and also put your system of scheme of how you're going to do things into play. Is going into that final or second half of the month where things get a little iffy, a little up in the air, a little uncertain. But don't forget, that's because Mercury is going retrograde. That is one of the planets that rules your sign, other than Gemini. So expect to not have things kind of like seem like, well, I thought things were well planned out, because that's the nature of having a system anyway. But because Mercury is going retrograde, you need to build some options into your system. So in case this doesn't quite work, we need to tweak it a little bit here to kind of polish it to make it do what it's supposed to do. But as long as you have a purpose or kind of a roadmap of how you're doing it, you should do well. You'll find that around the latter part, around the 27th to 28th, when the moon is sitting back in your opposition sign of Pisces, it tells me that this is the time to not overextend yourself, to take on more than you can chew, but more importantly, be a person of your word. Because the cycle you're in says if you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you may be misinterpreted by on the job by people thinking, oh, you're overly dictatorial, you're trying to tell me what to do. It might be because you're stressed over those 2 days. So just take it easy. The people who are going to be helping you in your systems this particular month of March, Virgos, will be Capricorns and Aquarians and Librans, or people born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month. Okay? So now we go to Libras. For Librans, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Libra, the theme this should be easy for you. The theme this year is to be generous, not to a fault, but to express that humanitarian side of your nature, to show love and balance and beauty and harmony in the things you do. To be generous in a sense to be giving, caring, and sharing. Now, I will be honest. On the second and the third day of March, when the moon is sitting in your stress sign in Aries, you might not be feeling generous to nobody. So don't pay that no mind. If that's the case, just simply say, okay, I'm going to let these couple of days ride out, let things settle, then I can be my generous self. Because it does mean that look out for number one, to take care of what's in your best interest, to do what's in your best interest in order to make things go the way you want to. Thank you. All right. And so by the second week, it simply means now you can be able in a better position to kind of get people together in a sense of camaraderie, a sense of partnership. But don't forget, is as we enter this second, going into the latter phase of March, that Mercury goes retrograde. And it simply means that all things that you assume should be the last thing you do. So yes, be generous, but not assume that, well, because I'm generous with this person, that this person's going to be generous back to me. And actually, if you're going with that kind of attitude of tit for tat and what you're going to do for me, you miss the whole point of your theme of being generous. To be selfless, to give without any expectation of what I'm going to get back in return. Just to give of your heart, okay? And so that's one of the things that's very, very important, okay? And this is, in fact, that's what makes your sign unique in the first place. It's not an animal symbol. It's not a human symbol. It's an inanimate. It's a scale. To have that balance, to be able to juggle where too much of is bad as none of it, to strike that balance of generosity and stuff too. All right. Now, as you go into the tail end, you will find that that the period between the 29th and the 30th when the moon is in your stress sign, to be a little bit more mindful about how you do things. And it also indicates it's going to be in a challenging week. So don't let people stress you. Don't let people work your nerves. And if you find that despite your feeling of wanting to be generous, you ain't feeling nobody, that would make sense. There would be some kind of restriction. But I will digress to say on the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th, when the moon is in your sign, it will give you a chance to expand your world, to meet the kind of people that are very important to you and whatnot. So who are the people that's going to be helping you express your generosity as your theme? It's going to be Aries and Scorpios and Leos, or people that are born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of any month. For Librans, the color to wear is crimson. All right. And the stone to wear or carry over and above shungite, of course, should be ruby. Okay. Now, got that straight. Now, if your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Scorpio, the theme this month for you is expression. Express yourself. Express what's in your heart. Express what's in your mind. Express what is in your feelings. But the point is expressing. And it doesn't have to just, and because we're in a water sign that deals with emotions, yes, express that too. But express other things, because your cycle suggests that now you can expand your world. Now you can show what you can do. And because of it, you can also enhance your name or reputation along the way at the job, at the workplace, among family, things of that nature. The only thing is, all things is too much of can be bad as none of. So don't overextend yourself, especially in the opening months of March anyway, on the 4th and the 5th, when the moon is sitting in your opposition sign of Taurus, because it's good for Tauruses, but for you, that 4th and 5th of March says you got to be really, really careful and not overextend yourself. Plus, it indicates you're going to be under some restrictions anyway. So those opposition days are not going to help you at all. And it kind of says tend to your health, but more so tend to your mindset, tend to your moods, the way things are going. As you go into the second week, it indicates now you're ready to make those changes. Now you're ready to break free from any restraints or restrictions that have been kind of like kind of hindering you, or that you feel has been hindering you, because there will be opportunities and possibilities that you can take advantage of. Now, the third week, when the moon is sitting in your sign on the 18th and 19th, you'll be in a much better position to do things. But it also deals with some makeups and breakups, some adjustments, some health issues, some financial issues too. Maybe it'll be a good time to kind of get a workout, a good time to focus on your weight, to focus on your education or home. But these will be some of the things that will be very, very important to you. And as we go into the tail week, what is most important, because toward the tail end of March, we'll be in retrograde right now. So that means being careful and aware of everything. But with it being on the 30th, when the moon is actually it's on the very last day of the 31st, when the moon goes back into your opposition sign again, you must be very guarded of your name, your reputation, getting caught up in the people's scandals. Don't there's a thing in court called hearsay. Don't go with no hearsay, because I heard somebody say something. If you're going to do anything, especially with your good name and reputation is concerned, you need to make sure it is factual rather than just hearsay or rumor has it, and you'll find you'll do better. The people who will be helping you will be Pisces and Sagittarius, or people that are born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. And as the color to where they should wear lavender, and from the lightest to the darkest. And the stone or crystal to wear or carry over and above shungite is spinel, spinel, spinel. It's a stone. It's actually for inflammations and things like that. It's a healing stone. It's spinel. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. But if you look it up, you see it is such a stone to wear. All right, finally. No, well, it's not finally. We got to go to Sagittarius. If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Sagittarius, your theme is about understanding. I know that sounds incredibly simple. I understand what you're saying, Lloyd. No, I'm telling you, understanding in a way that brings about an awareness, that shows a sense of empathy, shows a sense of working in conjunction with people to not just understand what's best for you, but to understand what's best for others and how we're all connected in the scheme of things. And if you can get that, you'll do well. Because what's going to happen is around the first week, especially around the 6th and the 7th, when the moon is sitting in your opposition sign, okay, of Gemini, you're going to want to be in a mood where you want to reflect and double things. And so try not to be sarcastic during those 2 days. Don't be, flip it at the mouth and stuff like that. Because Sagittarius can have an impulsive side to them too. But it's suggested with the cycle that you're in for March, that is not the best approach to do. It's not going to work that well for you, especially with the moon sitting in your stress sign. However, as you go into the second week, that's going to be much better for you in terms of dealing with anything financial, dealing with your past, dealing with relationships. And for women, all depending on your age, that's a pregnancy period too. Trying to start no stuff. But what I'm saying is this: symbolically, well, literally, it could be that you hear news of somebody getting pregnant or getting engaged or about to get married over the summer. But it also means something that's symbolically giving birth to a plan or business endeavor or business idea, or maybe connecting with somebody from your past. That's going to be very interesting. It's going to be in the latter part as we go into the second half when Mercury is retrograde on the 14th of the month. Okay, that around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, the moon sits in your sign. So that gives you an excellent, excellent opportunity to fulfill some of the things you've been wanting to do. It'll also tell you now the time I can cut some people loose and get rid of them once and for all. But this also means habits that you know good and well is not in your best interest too. The things you've been doing and the things you shouldn't be doing, so to speak. Again, it's about creating understanding. And one of them is not understanding your neighbors, but understanding yourself and why you do the things you do. So you can come out on the other end of this month a whole better person as a result of it. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to stand tall. You're going to stand victorious. You're going to have a sense of accomplishment. It's going to be an overall good feeling. And you're going to understand for the first time, so to speak, what your mission has been as we're about to leave March going into the month of April. Who's going to help you, of course, will be Tauruses and Librans, or people that are born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month, as well as those, in fact, the color to wear for Sagittarius this particular month will be blue, from the lightest to the darkest, but preferably dark blue will be better for you. And the stone or crystal to wear or carry should be over and above shungite should be sardonyx, Sardonix, Sardonix. It is also a healing stone. So that would be best for you. Now, If your sun, moon, or ascendant is in the sign of Capricorn, the theme for you is to be reasonable. And normally, Capricorns are. They're ruled by the element of earth. They normally, as a rule, they like to look before they leap. But be reasonable, because Capricorns is one of the signs of one of the animal symbols is ruled with horns on it. Like Aries has got it. And Taurus got it. You know what I'm saying? These are the horns with, and so that means they can be very confrontational, especially when they bend their heads and bug things. So it means being more reasonable. Don't be what is called set in your ways, but to be kind of understanding, from the last theme of Sagittarius, kind of take a page from them, but do it in a way that makes sense, especially in the very first week, because it means patience is going to be very key. The nice thing about it for you, with being an earth sign, patience is one of your goals, because Capricorns can be very tenacious, I should say. It's in that second week, around the 8th and the 9th, just before we start to get into Mercury retrograde, that the moon is going to be in your opposition sign of Cancer. And it simply means about taking it easy, taking your time, also paying attention to what you eat and how you eat out, so you don't get anything to upset your stomach or throw you off your center in that way. But to be understanding as well as reasonable. Now, as you go into the second part of the month, when Mercury now changed retrograde, it seems you need to kind of tone up, kind of like keep things within range and be more efficient as much as possible. And because we are now in the period of Mercury retrograde, in that particular week, as you start that third week, says to be kind of frugal, to not, well, Capricorns do that anyway, but even more so about not letting people, well, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? No, it won't be until the latter part, when the moon is in your sign, that I'm going to talk about in a moment, that you get a chance to. But it means having a waste not, want not, lend not, borrow not, and having a purpose, a focus, and direction in that week. As you go into the last part of the month of March, because now we smack dab into Mercury retrograde, no question about it. On the 23rd and the 24th, the moon sits in your sign. So it gives you a reprieve, and it gives you a chance to travel, to get out and about, to take advantage of all opportunities, as well as whatever possibilities that present themselves to you too. So you're going to find it that you'll have a what they call a breath of fresh air, so to speak. Who's going to help you? Well, those who are going to help you will be under the signs of Aquarius, Aries, Leo, or they'll be born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. Now, the color to wear, Capricorns, is normally not your color, but red is going to be your color this particular time, as well as the stone to wear or carry over and above that will be garnet. That will be it. So now, saving the best for last, if your sun or moon or ascendant is in the sign of Aquarius, you know what the theme is for you? Tranquility, to be at peace, to let no one work your nerves, okay? To let no one throw you off center, off course, for whatever reason, to just be in a state of bliss. This is where meditation comes in for those of you who don't do it. You will find it being to your advantage to do that. And especially because you're going to be in a very quiet, reflective theme for the month. You're going to find that in the first week, you're going to be questioning things that deals with your financial situation, people in your life from your past, or things of that nature that you need to reflect on, and why these people have come into your life in that way. It also indicates that you're going to sort of come of age and whatnot. The only bump in the road is as you go into the second half leading up to Mercury retrograde on the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, and the moon is sitting in your stress sign of Leo. And you will find that as a result, that that's going to be a time for you to where you're going to want to close things out. You're not going to want to be bothered with a lot of people. You're just going to want to cut your losses and let bygones be bygones. But at the same time, if you've been holding on to a dream, holding on to an intention, that would be the best time to manifest them. But yet with an air of caution, with the moon sitting in your stress sign during those 3 days of the 10th through the 12th. As you go into the third week, though, in the second half, when the moon is in, when I should say we now gone Mercury into retrograde on the 14th of March, as you enter that second week, now you'll be able to stand tall and on your own. Now you're going to be more incentivized to do things. You're going to be more motivated to get yourself going, motivated to get everything started and whatnot the way you need to. And you'll find it by the tail end on the 25th and the 26th when the moon is in your sign finally. It'll give you a chance to kind of end it on a very nice note, a note that deals with relationships, mending fences. Also, you will notice with the cycle you're in that your intuitions will greatly increase. And if you've meditated at the start of March, and by the end of March, if you're doing that when the moon is in your sign, you're going to see a tremendous difference about how your intuitions and inner knowing will be so much on point. The people who are going to be helping you this particular month will be those under the sign of Cancer and the minor way Leo, but especially people born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. The color to wear for all Aquarians for the month of March is green. And I don't mean because it's St. Patrick's Day on the 17th. No, it got nothing to do with that. It's about taking your time and taking green, a business green, and trying all kinds of colors, light and dark and stuff like that. And you'll find that that will probably enhance you. Now, the stone or crystal to wear or carry over and above shungite should be amethyst, okay? So I think that is about it, Miss Kimberly. I think we've touched all the signs.
Yay!
I think I did a better job.
We got another notch on
Exactly.
our belt. Thank you so much for a wonderful forecast as usual. I can't believe that we have 12. You know what's funny? I told you at the beginning, I think you're psychic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to describe myself as methodical.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that just
Interesting.
happens to be the theme for Leo. And another thing is, I forgot all about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I love corned beef, even though I don't know what St. Patrick's Day is about.
No,
But
Patrick's Day is about getting drunk. Okay. That's what it is.
well,
Not, the Irish will tell you. All the pubs are open in New York City. You can get it from time they open to the end of the day. It's about celebration. It's about enjoying the spirits. I was put it another way. That sounds much better. But also,
well, they
mhm.
can get drunk. I want the corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. Um, it's mentioned you mentioned methodical because you're born on the 22nd day, which is a 4. And 4 is about order and purpose and having a method and being methodical, yet being unconventional in being methodical. It's almost like called organized chaos.
I was getting ready to say, I told you there's a method to my madness.
Exactly.
You didn't believe it, but I told you there is a method to my
Lucky
madness.
guess, right?
Yes. And there's a few things that I want to bring up.
Amazing.
Okay, so we've had the power series going on for the year so far. We had in January the power of numerical cycles. In February, I hope you didn't miss that. We had the power of relationships. And if you did miss January and February, just know that you can go back to the replay, and the replay is available for the power of numerical cycles and the power of relationship, and just click on the QR code and you'll be able to get to both of those. Make sure you check it out. And for March, we have something special, especially since it's a lot going on financially this year. The power of precious metals. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yes, to a degree, I'm going to have a very special guest who specializes in precious metals. Precious metals, to some people who are aware of it, called constitutional money. What does constitutional money means? I'm glad somebody asked me. I could tell somebody asked me right there. Well, what it simply means, if you go to the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Part 10, it says gold and silver constitutes money for the United States of America. Not fiat, no paper, nothing, no paper with ink printed on it, none of that. gold and silver. There is a move afoot right now to actually make gold and silver standard. There are actually states now that has given where you can actually transact things in gold and silver. Gold, where gold when it first started was back in 1933 was $33. Now it's over $3,000. Okay, silver was once $5. Now it's over $30 and going to head up to. All these things are going to increase greatly. But there's other metals too that he's going to be talking about. The special guest is going to be in Kuru. He's a specialist in precious metals, but he's going to put emphasis on gold, which represents the sun, and silver that represents the moon. Isn't that interesting? You know?
Very interesting. That's
Yeah.
a great combination.
Yeah. So those are the things that affect us, and these have been they call them now fungibles, which means you can, when you take your silver is acknowledged everywhere. Gold is acknowledged everywhere you go. If you go into another country and got their paper money, that paper money only lasted but so much before it then went out of business. So the United States has been very good with its dollar, but the dollar is losing strength. In fact, the dollar has lost about over 80% of its purchasing power. So this is why an orange. I was in a store today, and an orange was $2.50 for an orange. It's like, really? And I love oranges too. I love it that much though, but but it's. I mean, I'm just saying that, but that's what that means. So the higher things are, the more that means that the dollar is losing its value. So people are more turning to precious metals, and that's what we're going to be talking about on March 18th.
And I also want to include with this, Lloyd had Inkuru on his channel before, and because of some of the things he was talking about, the video was taken down, and it was some amazing things that were said in that video. But in this workshop, he can be open, he can talk the way that he want to, because we're not on a platform and it's not going to be censored. So I suggest to everybody that is interested in finding out more about gold and silver or other ways to invest, check out this power series.
And Miss Kimberly, what's amazing is I've done over 300 shows. That was the only show that was pulled from the program, the only one. But what
The
happened?
only
We were
one.
talking about silver because see what people don't realize, silver has over 10,000 uses, including medical uses too. And I think because the medical part, they hit a flag, and there was the next thing I know, it was off the air, but it was a great show. So I said, that's really good. That's why we're going to have him on the Power Series, where there's no restrictions, where he can talk about all the benefits, the healing powers of silver, colloidal silver, things like that. I mean, it's going to be outrageous. I'm going to be there myself.
I've never known them to take a video down so quick.
It was down less than 24 hours. I said,
We
wow,
couldn't
was
even
that
digest
serious?
the information.
Yes. Now
Yes,
this.
and now we have the palmistry workshop. Can you talk about the palmistry workshop?
Well, this is one of my over and above numerology first, astrology second. This is my third love in the metaphysical world, which is the art of palmistry. When I went to India, they were very much into this. The hands tell a lot. It's interesting. We all have a nose, we all have a mouth, we all have ears and whatnot, but we can all tell the difference. And when you think about it, and now when you go into a store, like if one goes into a Whole Food, all they got to do is swipe their hand across the thing and it'll recognize who they are. But if I swipe my hand, it's not. So it just shows you the technology. And this is a confirmation of the uniqueness of each body's hand, just as there's a uniqueness in our face. Yes, some of us will look similar, like you look like cousin so-and-so. But for the most part, the hand does that too. The hand tells a lot about you. It tells about your lifeline, how well you keep your metabolism, your heart line, how you deal with your emotions. The most important lines of all the series of lines on there is your headline. That is called the line of mentality. So see, this is why you can meet a person, they can be tall and good looking, the woman can be voluptuous and attractive, but that's why Napoleon says the face may deceive, but the hand never, because they can't. So a person can put on makeup they want to, a guy can get a haircut and all that stuff. When you open those hands and see those lines, it is what it is, what it is. It's just that simple. And it will tell you a whole lot. You can tell from the headline alone who has a leaning toward the world of business or who leans toward the world of art, things like that. You can tell from the length of the fingers which ones is more predominant, which ones is stronger, whatever the case is like that. Each finger represents a quality, the thumb especially, because the thumb represents your will or lack of will. I don't want to start. It sounds like I'm starting on the lecture already. I get excited when I see this. But be there. You should be there to learn this.
And who knows, you may not even do another palmistry workshop because you usually don't do palmistry. So make sure that you catch this one because it may not be another one. So
the last time I did was about 8 years ago, and I did a workshop in Brooklyn. I did a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm going to be having the hands of famous people from Beyonce to P. Diddy to Obama. I'm going to have all kinds of hands. So it's going to be full of illustrations too, so people can see. And for those that attend, I'll take a look at your hands too. So that's going to be exciting. I'm going to say, ooh. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be professional.
that's going to be the fun part. That will be the fun part. Make sure you're watching Live with Lloyd. Lloyd comes on Mondays and Wednesdays live on YouTube at Live with Lloyd. So make sure you check him out there and download the Star 8 app. ASTAR, the number 8.com.
Yep.
You can go to linktr.ee/numbersanyou and you can check out all of the services and products offered because there's books that you can purchase and there's workshops as you can see. So make sure you check them out on this Linktree and you can send a cash app to $numbersanyou.
There is a podcast that comes on twice a week at least called Manifest on Purpose. The host is Miss Kimbaley. It is an amazing, it is a, there, and I was talking about you on my show today, boy, so one of your ears wasn't burning, okay? I was talking about you tonight. It's just amazing how you're able to tell a story, take a page from your life, yet it has universal connections to it. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. It's the most fantastic thing you do. And it's not because I know you. It's not because we've had a good working relationship and we enjoy what we do in the metaphysical world. But I'm saying, because I told my show today, but when I did my show, the God in me loves the God in you. Well, that comes from your show. Because we all need to recognize the God in each other. And I think this would be a better world too. So for those of you who really, really need to have inspiration, motivation, some guidance, things like that, this is the perfect place to go. And as I tell people on my show, go to KIMBALEY_. That's KIMBALEY_. And you see all her podcasts. I said she has a new platform called Astro Numerology Reveals and stuff like that. I put all your business in the street. Okay, you'd have been proud of me.
So sad. So sad. But really, I appreciate it. Thank you so
The
much.
feeling is mutual. You thought you was gonna get away plugging mine, right? You're gonna plug yours too. In fact, your information be on the bottom of that screen too. But we ain't gonna go there next month. That's all right. That's what I'm talking about. No, it's only flat. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. YouTube Kimbaley, KIMBALEY_. And that way they can see all the previous recordings we've done. They can see this recording here. And eventually she's going to have her products and services too. She's branching out. She does personal consultations. She does numerology charts. She does. And subscribe to Kimbaley.com. It's growing every day. And so you should listen to Manifest on Purpose. I don't know how she does it, but it's great. I tune in. Yes, I'm partial to the sister. Yes, I am, but she's just that good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. See you in April.
Yes.
Aries
Yeah, Aries. I
season.
know Aries
Yeah,
says now we back to Aries, okay? Now we
we
back
gotta
to
get ready for Aries. You try to give Aries 2 reads today. See you in April.
see you in April. And don't forget, this is Mercury retrograde, so take it easy. Don't let things kind of throw you off. But I think by people having this, it'll help them a lot. So if things does act crazy, at least it's not to use it as an excuse, as to create an understanding. That's the difference. That's what it is.
Awareness.
Yes, awareness. Ms. Kimbaley, thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure. This is our 13th series, our 13th recording of this.
13.
Yes, we did all 12 for 2024.
We just said 15.
What did I say? 13? Get out of here. 15. Wow, that's even more. That's two more than I thought. That's great. Okay, good. 16 is next, Aries. 16, y'all got a lucky number 16.